here's Lyle to sort of tell us all about the 101 on drag, basically.
Yes. All right. Well, first, if you're looking to start your makeup and you're just starting out, obviously you need one of these. This is an Elmer's glue stick, and it's in disappearing purple. So when it's not purple anymore, it's dry and you can put another layer on. So what I usually do starting off is clean shave. This is a really great product. It's called Ten Skin, and it just prevents any type of razor burn or ingrown hair, so you can do drag and shave day after day after day. I know when I first started, I would not want to paint day after day because I kept getting irritated by the razor and not the makeup itself. So really great product. And
Lyle, would you suggest, so I know we had this conversation, I'm someone who loves my sideburns.
Your sideburns,
Would you suggest someone shaving off their sideburns? Because remember this,
Right. I would say if you're doing drag full time, you're gonna get rid of it. I mean, I know drag queens do, and I'm sure you do as well, who get rid of their own eyebrows. So that's the ultimate sacrifice. But if you can manage without sideburns, it'll cut your process down about 40 minutes. I know you like them, but if you don't want to shave them, you can always just cover them with glue stick.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So after that, moisturizing is key. We are men, so I use Kiehl's. I don't know if you can see this, but it's just like a daily moisturizer. Also eye cream with the amount of eye makeup you wear, both Kiehl's products. And then I go in with a primer. I'm using MAC, so we'll just do that right now. And I do primer first because when covering your eyebrows, it's really important, and I know a lot of queens don't do this because it's just an extra step, but it's really important to clean your eyebrows with 99% isopropyl alcohol. It just gets rid of any moisturizer, any primer, any dust, anything that could be hiding in your eyebrows that will prevent the hairs from laying down flat on your crease bone. So you can just use like a tissue. This is a Febreze bottle, but it's just alcohol. And you just clean your brows. La la la. And that's it. Now you're done.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Now beat that face.
Say again?
Now beat that face.
Okay, now we're going in with, I use this is like I think it's Benefit. Yeah, Benefit the Porefessional. It's just like a pore filler. As men, we have larger pores, so we want to eliminate that. I usually have it on my nose and right off to the sides of my nose. So just put that all over, and that will make creating different dimensions and different shapes on your nose more believable, because you'll be able to control where you want the shadows and the highlights. And then once you're done with that, we're gonna go right in with the glue stick. And what you want to do is start at the end, so the tails of your eyebrows. You want to do circular motions and go in. You want to completely coat the eyebrow. So we're just going to start doing that. And feel free to ask me any questions during this time.
What do you think is your favorite process of being a drag queen and the makeup?
First of all, the makeup to me is like super therapeutic. So when I do makeup, I often paint, most of the time I paint in complete silence, and I just let my mind run, and I kind of get lost in the flow of everything. But what I love about drag performance is that it enables, or it allows you to invite people into your imagination, which as adults, we kind of lose sense of our imagination. So drag helps me stay intact with that innocence that we have as a kid. I should mention, once you put the glue on, you're gonna take a little spoolie, which you can buy 100 of these on Amazon for $2. And you're just gonna brush all your hairs in the same direction that they would grow, so they lay flat. And then just another layer.
And you have to do it before it dries, correct?
Yes, while it's wet, you want to just push everything so it lays as flat as possible. I know a lot of queens like to go up, but for me, and it depends on your type of eyebrow, that can create some types of ridges that you don't necessarily want. so it can show cracks. And then once you got a nice layer down, I just use my finger and I just push it right up against the skin. And you'll be able to, like, that way you'll be able to feel how flat it is. And then if you want to get an extra look, you just turn your head to the side and look at your like reflection. My mirror is right here. So you look at your reflection, you can kind of see if anything is coming off the brow, and then you just let that dry and you work on the other one.
So Raymond actually has a question for you. So let me unmute
Yes.
Raymond.
You answered it. I was going to ask what kind of spoolie you were using, and did you steal it from Sephora, or am I the only queen that goes in and does that?
Mama, I'm so guilty. So guilty. I'm like, no, I'm just looking around. Oh,
I haven't paid for cotton balls in years.
Right, of course. Well, I mean, they should be free with the amount of money I throw at those companies.
Thank you.
Hello. So, okay, same thing on this side. And I don't really care about getting too messy with how this looks because you clean it up after. You know the drill.
And does it make a difference when with the glue starting at the outer or the inner?
It helps get under all the hair, which is what keeps the eyebrows sticking to the skin, not sticking to other hair. But a good trick to like really get it flat and kind of make it look like skin is I'm a sweater, so I put like copious amounts of this. I use maybe 4 layers, and around the 3rd, after it's dry, I'll take hot water, which I have right here. And you just dab and you just smooth it over, and it's gonna reactivate the glue. So it's gonna turn purple again. It's gonna get slimy, and you just really wanna like get it as flat as possible. I usually hold a blow dryer up to my face at the same time doing it. That's if I'm doing a photo shoot and I want it to look like nice. If I'm doing the gigs, I'm not gonna spend that much time on my eyebrows. But that is a really great trick. I think I learned that from Pearl. Just using a little bit of water just helps smooth out the eyebrows and creates a better texture so it's not as oatmeal-y. That makes sense.
Notice, so like, as you obviously know the queens that I know.
Yeah.
Because I just, happen to be the shortest person in the room. But I've noticed with drag that they do a lot more makeup in their photo shoots than they do for their shows. Why is that?
Well, in photo shoots, you're not moving as much. So focus is going to be on the artwork that you're putting on your face, not necessarily the performance that you're presenting. Also, a lot of that is fixed in post, all tea, no shade. So it looks a lot more pristine. Everyone uses a photo editor app. There's no shade there. And yeah, I guess it's also like people don't have as many photo shoots as they have performance gigs, so they don't want to waste as much time focusing on the face when they have to get there and get dressed. And it's more about the show when it's a show.
Makeup like when you're doing your shows, because I know like Sugar, like she's great, she can do her makeup now in like 45 minutes flat.
Right.
You know what I mean? But she does a simplified version of it because she's traveling around the world with,
totally. The more you do it, like I can do my face in an hour and a half, I would give myself. But that's just like standard face. That's what I go to. That's what I know. Most of the time I'm playing with makeup these days, so I spend a little more time. But yeah. So now that these brows are dry, as I said before, I would go in with a couple of more layers, but since we're crunched for time, I would do maybe 2 or 3. I'd wet it a little. I mean, my brows lay down pretty flat to begin with, but that little hot water trick does a whole lot. And then I go in with the little air spun. I call this old lady powder because it smells like my grandma. And I put a light amount. I know a lot of people like really cake it on, but at first I just put a light amount just to soak up any of the moisture that the glue might have left over. And then I go in and I start pressing it into the hairs just to fill in any gaps that might be between the hair follicles. And then once you do that, you're ready for your foundation. And then that's when the brow really just goes away, as you will see. I use Krylon TV Paint Stick because it has the most coverage and it comes in this really easy, portable little container. I know a lot of queens, they take a lighter and they warm up the product. I've never done that, but that's a trick if you want to give that a try. I take this and I put it directly onto the crease bone where my eyebrows are in the direction that I glued my eyebrows down, just so you don't disrupt it. You don't want to go back and forth. It will rip up the eyebrow. So I just do small upward motions and fully cover it. I am a Cosmo queen. I do know everything there is about makeup. So everything I say, you need to do exactly if you want. That was a joke. That was sarcasm. And then I just take a dry beauty blender. I usually, any type of sponge will work, but you just want to blend that out. And you can already see it's disappearing. It's just gone.
So how would you describe your sort of drag? You know, obviously they're look queens, they're dance queens, they're comedy queens. What do you think you are?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, a lot of people like to tell me what I am because they think they see it, but like that's not like, I feel like that's something that you need to like learn from within. It's really easy to hear like, oh, you remind me of so-and-so. So you think you should start copying everything that so-and-so has done. But what makes each drag queen like alluring and special is what they bring out of themselves. Like actors, you know, you bring your personal life experiences to the art. So you want to do the same with drag. Like for a long time, I thought, especially when I first started out doing drag, I thought I needed to be like, you know, shablam, shablam, all that. And that's just like not me. And the more that I embraced what I like knew to be true within my own drag, the more fun I started having, the more bookings I started getting. So like, I'm a musical theater queen through and through. So I just started embracing like doing musical theater numbers and like that type of stuff. And it's worked out for me.
And you sing a lot live too. So
right. I do sometimes. I pull it out at brunches, but I know a lot of LA queens, they don't like live singing, drag queens.
They don't, but the night that we were out, so short story, Miss Sugar and I were out. She was in town doing a few gigs, and she'd met Lyle as a boy, but then we went to Flaming Saddles, a WeHo, and you started singing, and she was blown away. And she's like, who is this queen? Who is this girl? And you handed her your business card, and she's like, oh my God, it's Lyle, but as a girl.
Okay, so I blended all this out. Again, so much product is going to go over here. You just want to make sure that the browns are gone from your eyes, from your eyebrows. Take your powder again. I do another light coat before I go pressing into it, just to get a little coverage. Boop, boop, boop. And now your eyebrows should be gone. Once you brush away the excess. Okay. Now that you officially look like an alien baby, what I do is, I know a lot of queens draw their new eyebrows using either their like contour from a paint stick, or they'll just use shadows. But what I like to do, because I put so much on first, it usually blends out after powder and whatnot. I draw with a, what is this, a lip? Yeah, it's a lip liner by Smashbox. It's called Always Sharp Lip Liner in nude medium. And I just like this consistency because it's super creamy. And you can like, I'll just draw a little here, you'll be able to see. It just like goes right on. You'll be able to stencil out exactly what you want. And because it's a cream base, you can, I just stopped talking, didn't I? You can clean up whatever you do. Like, boom, that was one. Can you see that? I can see it there. Okay.
But how do you decide what kind of eyebrow you should be doing?
Okay, the eyebrows are the windows to the face. So when I first started, I thought drag. I thought like just big. Everything needs to be big. But the more you do drag, the more you learn about your face. And again, this I'm relating back to thinking that you need to paint like someone else or seeing how makeup looks on someone that you want to emulate. That's not always as easy as it sounds because everyone has different face shapes. Everyone has different eye shapes. Basically, you want to follow along your natural facial structure, but you want to exaggerate it. So in most cases, with lifting the eye area to more feminize it, you want to start your new brow where your original brow, your boy brow is, but you just want to start it just right in the middle of it. And I'm not saying middle like horizontally, I'm saying middle vertically. And then you want to draw it up until the top of your natural arch, which I feel like I can get in here, which is like the top here. And then you can either bring it down, you can bring it out, you can bring it higher and down. But like that's the general shape you want to keep with eyebrows if you're staying true to your natural crease. I know queens who will draw their crease like all the way up to where I start my eyebrow, which means you have to bring everything up. But if you're just doing like basic glamour makeup, which is what I do, I would do that. And I'm gonna start just mapping this out here. And they don't have to be super symmetrical on your first try. Like that was super fast. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm just gonna take it up like this. Meet it there. Meet it there.
And I think the biggest thing to know, I think when I was doing maybe you were teaching me how to do my makeup, you kept on saying, don't worry about making mistakes. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that's the biggest thing people.
We don't have mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Right. And I ended up having a mistake on my eyebrows. So we made them bushy instead of a straight line, which actually I much preferred.
Totally. And like the way I have found my face is absolutely by trial and error, by making mistakes and going, oh, wait a minute, I like that. And also by painting others, it like really allowed me to understand what certain shapes fit with certain like eye sockets and like hooded eye or all that stuff. So if you want to learn, it's really easy to just like watch a video or like listen to a tutorial or take a class, but you really have to like do it yourself. And you'll be surprised at how fast you'll pick it up. I mean, this is 6 or 7 years, so I might make it look really easy, but there has been time put into this.
So I'm actually going to show the picture of my makeup afterwards while you're doing your makeup so people can sort of see the before and after.
Oh, please
and also
do. But before you go off and do that, I'm just going to talk this through and then I'm going to do it and you can do that.
Great.
So I filled in my eyebrows with that cream liner. Then I'm going to go in with powders. You want to do an ombre to create dimension. You don't need it to be a severe ombre where it's just like one color to another color. I start out on the tail ends. So these are the tails with a black. And then I gradually move it in from like dark browns to light browns until it's essentially like my skin color right at the beginning of it. So I'm going to do that. And then, what'd you say?
Can we explain what ombre is before I show the picture?
Ombre is basically just like a fade, a gradual fade from light to dark or dark to light. And it's usually used to create dimension. So you are creating a new shape on your face. You want to bring lights and darks where they would fall on a real feature, if that makes sense.
Raymond has a quick question.
Yes, shoot.
So how dark, oh wait, I want to put your face on my screen. How dark did you go with that original cream stencil? How dark?
Not dark at all. I mean, I can come in as close as I can.
Yeah.
It's just to outline it. That's just my outline. And then once I fill it in with powder, then I'll clean it with a highlight and everything will come together.
But you did fill it in with that cream stick.
Very lightly, yeah.
Okay.
because you're gonna, like, I use the stipple method when it comes to making eyebrows with powders. So I just like poke the product in, and it just helps hold onto it.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Who's ready to see me in drag? See what Lyle came up with. Everyone's hands are up. All right, I'll show you guys. Here we go.
Oh my God.
So this is after about 3.5 hours of makeup. And this was the happy accident I was talking about. So if you look at sort of the eyebrows, you know, I do movie posters. So I do a lot of painting for hair and sort of in general. So for me, it was more comfortable for not do a line because I kept on screwing it up because I don't know how to do a straight line and actually make bushy eyebrows, which actually worked for me, I felt like. And this is me and Lyle being sisters. So that's, there you go.
Sisters do as sisters should.
Shemizel Shemazel.
I mean, I was pretty impressed with how good you came out being your first try.
Thank you.
I should show, so I start with the black on the tail end, but I also bring it all the way down here, just under though, just like right at the base horizontally, because that also creates a dimension down, so it's darker as it's moving down. And that will also all blend out into browns and stuff, but it'll come together.
And eyebrows are symmetrical. So I think that was like, when I was doing it, may have been one of the most difficult things for me, because obviously you first start off with your dominant hand, but I've also been told by drag queens to sort of like do the opposite eyebrow, the eyebrow that you wouldn't be as strong on first, because it'll be easier to match that way. What are your thoughts on that?
I definitely start off with the harder side first, just to make things easier, just to like get it over with. But I do see the logic in like matching the harder side. I don't necessarily like rely on matching. I do it little by little. So like I'll draw a little here and then I'll draw a little there. And then I'll like, just to follow it so I can see it symmetrically. I know people draw one and then they try and match it, but that never seemed to work for me. So I do like a little at a time. And I mean, just for freehand, I mean, that's pretty symmetrical. Again, 7 years I've been doing this, but I'm not mad, you know?
So Raymond, I know that we were talking a little bit earlier. What are some of the hardest things that you find by doing your eyebrows? Like,
yes,
I know you're interested in this one.
So brow. Okay, so I'll be honest. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I just got this thing. I just got a new mic this morning, so I'm like, ooh, is it working?
Oh, amazing. Well, you sound clear, so money well spent.
So yeah, I am self-proclaimed one of the laziest drag queens I know.
Okay.
When because I get my makeup done for the really important events, like the photo shoots. That way I can either like say it looks great, or if it looks horrible, pin it on someone else.
That's some shade.
Like I hate shaving my arms, so you always see me in like opera gloves.
Oh yes, of course.
Like there are tricks. My biggest trick with my brows is all of my wigs I style to I get them styled. I don't style. To have bangs, so in case I do screw up, no one will see it.
Of course.
But it's just the freehanding it. I always look like Yetzo the Clown.
Have you tried freehanding with a pencil?
Yeah, that's all I use. I don't do the whole cream stuff. I just got the new, like, some stencils for Hanukkah that I haven't had a shot to try yet. And then the other thing that I just have an issue doing is, like, making it look like, I guess, like hairs and more actually painting on instead of just filling in.
Right. So I'm actually going to do an intricate brow since we're focusing on this section.
Yeah.
So I'll show you what I do to give that feathered look. But you definitely want to make an eyebrow even like before adding those types of details.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Like, those details look nice, but only if the base is done correctly. Otherwise, it'll just look even more like a mishmashy.
Yeah. And the other thing I kept having a problem with is where I was placing them on my face.
Right.
Because you're essentially drawing it on your forehead. So I would have one up here and one down here and constantly look ridiculous.
I mean, definitely. So basically, this is like, I've never gone to cosmetology school or makeup school, but this is like the
But it
base.
fooled me.
Thank you. But if you take a makeup brush and you put it just right here, like this is where you want your eyebrow to start. And then you just turn it here, and that's where you want the arch to be, and that's where you want the tail to be.
Okay.
So if you can do that, I know some queens like dot it out first. They'll like make a little roadmap and then draw. But like the nice thing about drawing eyebrows is you can get it a little messy because you can always clean it up with concealer underneath, which I'll show you what this, I mean, it doesn't look too messy right now, but it'll look a lot cleaner once I put that concealer underneath. I should mention that as I'm working from the outer darker in, I'm just using the blood sugar palette because it has a lovely array of browns.
Mhm.
And I'm just working that in. Again, I'm using like the stipple method because you don't want to be swiping on an eyebrow. You want to be like just stippling it in. Again, you don't want to rip up the glue or any of the products that you laid down before.
I mean, Raymond, is there a queen that you liked their eyebrows? Like,
I really like Johnny Reinhardt. I don't know if you guys know who she is.
I have no idea who that is. No, I'm kidding. I love her.
I love Johnny. She's great. I've been wanting to have her do my face for a while, but I have nothing to go to, so I have no excuse to have her do my face.
Also, we're in quarantine, so.
Yeah.
No, Johnny and I played with makeup. She painted me a couple of years ago. But at that time, her face was so different. She was doing a big, like, cartoony crease, and she had like a little sleepy eye moment, very Jessica Rabbit. But yeah, her eyebrows are really cool too. Give her a little shout out. Go follow Johnny Reinhardt, formerly known as someone else who I almost said. Okay, so now that we have successfully filled all this in, and it looks lovely, lovely, gal. Again, just stipple, stipple, stipple. Great.
So let me also ask, just because I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of controversy on using liquid foundation and only powder to contour and mixing the powder and liquid products.
That is all personal preference. There really is no right way when it comes to makeup. I mean, there are certain things that you need to do to lay like a good foundation, but like as far as like your routine, that's you. Like however makes you feel your judge the hardest, you do that.
Okay.
Okay, so brows are like, these are totally acceptable. I could wear these if I wanted to once I clean them up. But because we are focusing on the eyebrows, I'm gonna go in with details. So this is, I don't even know where I found this. I think I found this in like Panama, but it is a Pink Panther brown liquid eyeliner. And it looks like this. And it has a little Pink Panther on it. I Amazoned it. You can still find it on Amazon. I found it in some weird store in Panama because I travel a lot.
They sell them at Miniso. I've seen that.
Oh, you've seen it? Okay, pick it up because it's lovely. I'd order 2 more on Amazon because I like it so much. Also, this is the Stila black liquid eyeliner. Oh my God, I'm so bad at this. Okay. I use this one, and then this is NYX's super affordable white liquid eyeliner. So what I do is I go in with the brown first, and I start at the base here. And these first 2 hairs, I want going straight up. So up, and then I want to slowly start bringing it sideways as my natural eyebrow hairs would do. So I'm gonna do that real quick. 1, 2, 3. And you just wanna like, I'll get in closer if you can see that. Can you see that? I don't know. So you do that, little flicks. And this is, of course, going to take practice. This is all the flick of the wrist. Again. And I like to bring it above, like over where I drew, where I shaded all of that in, just so it looks like hair's peeking out. And then just to give more dimension, then I'll go in with the black. I'll do the same thing, but in the negative spaces in between. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'll, most of the time, just draw the tail with black. It just makes it look better. Yep, you can ask. I'm listening.
I gotta wait for Julian. Oh, Julian to unmute me. Okay, cool. What is your advice or tips when you're switching wig color to match your brows too?
I don't really ever worry about that, if I'm being honest. I mean, if I'm wearing black hair, that's the only time I will make sure that I'm not in a black brow, only because though that I just look very harsh. I already have very evil queen type of features. So that like would make me look very mean. And I learned that once. I went out with black hair and black eyebrows and nobody spoke to me. And then I learned later they thought I was very mean. Just because when I'm not smiling, I already have severe features. So like if I put dark colors, and I think I was in like a purple lid, I looked like the evil queen. So no one wanted to speak to me. Learn that. So I go for browns. I mean, if you think about like redheads don't have like red eyebrows. They have more of a brown tint or an undertone. Blondes don't have blonde, or if they do, it's bleached that way, which is a look, and you can do that. But if you're trying to emulate, like, at least that's what I do with my drag. I try to emulate real features. I just like to exaggerate them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's why I do this. Like, I never used to do this detailed brow thing, but the more I saw that it started looking like a real brow, I just kept pushing. And again, adding different colors just adds to that. So I do like a brown, a black, and then I just recently started using white just because it gives it this feathered look. The thing that you have to know about using this white is...
What product is that again?
It is a NYX liquid white. I think it's like $4 or $5. It's very inexpensive. But you can't go crazy with this product. I literally put 3 little things just to create a dimension, which I shall show you now. So I do 1 here, 1 here, 1 top. And the nice thing about this, and you see how like that just breaks, it just breaks it up. Mm-hmm. Just looks nice. And then I immediately go in and I just blend it out so it's not as crazy. And if you make too big of a white line, if you mess up on the white line, you can always just take a brown, take a black, and go right back in and cover it up, which is what I like to do right at the base. So it just looks a little more seamless. Yes, Julian?
No. Sorry. My dog's playing. One of the dogs here is playing with the toy, so I was trying to call my roommate. So I was muting. So no, I wasn't talking. Sorry, guys.
Okay, I'm just gonna do the little white on this side really quick, and then I'm gonna show you how I clean up underneath and make it look beautiful.
So where do you think you get your inspiration from for your outfits, and like you as a drag queen?
For my outfits, I guess like the more that I started embracing like musical theater and whatnot, I started understanding that I love a strong female protagonist, and I usually like I gravitate towards like women who like gave their all and then were screwed over in the end, that type of vibe, or like a very rich woman who married this man who treated her wrong and then he like killed him and she inherited everything. That type of zhuzh is my go-to drag persona. Yeah, and I learned that just over years of just figuring out what I like to perform to. And then it just hit me that I was like, oh, I'm totally that type. And I embrace it. I fully embrace it.
Well, my favorite outfit of yours happens to be the Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, well, that's a little more whimsical. But yeah, I break that out around Halloween. That's
You
my
guys can see it on Lyle's Instagram. I unfortunately don't have a picture.
Yeah, I think it's on there.
Sure.
Somewhere.
It's still on your Instagram.
Yes. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to clean up underneath what I've been talking about this whole time. So I'm finally going to shut up about it and do it. So I take Ben Nye Super White and I put it in a little container here. And then I take the tiniest little, I mean, my best friend from home just watched me do my makeup while we caught up. And she was just laughing at how many tiny little brushes we use. Like, look at this little brush. But it takes all these tiny brushes to make a big woman. I can't find this. Aha. Okay. So I then go in with TV White, another Krylon paint stick. I'll go in with I don't know. This is a MAC 195. Oh my God, I'm the worst makeup guru. Sorry. I'll fully.
You're the worst makeup YouTuber.
I'm the worst one. I'm just like, I don't know how to do this. I will fully coat this brush. I will go back and forth, up and down, fully coat it. And what I do is instead of using it like this, I'll turn it on its side so I have more precision. You want to use that. And that's what you're going to use to cut. So I'll do that real quickly. Shh. And that just makes the eyebrow look so much cleaner. Okay, so once you did that, then I just cover the eyebrow all again in white. But again, you want to do a stippling motion. You don't want to drag or rip up any of the product. So I'll just lightly put this white all over everything under the brow. And again, doesn't have to be super blended because I go in with a sponge. So now that it looks crazy like that, I'll take another tiny little sponge. I should wet this, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. And then you just blend all that out.
And why should you wet it usually?
I mean, I'm gonna wet this just because they're just better. They don't soak up as much product when they're wet. I'll just put it right here. Boom. Look at that.
And Raymond, I know that you had another question.
No worries. How far with that initial precision brush stroke that you did, how far past the tail did you go?
Not far past at all. You're just, I mean, this is all going to go away. So
okay.
That there. That is essentially what is going to be your highlight C.
Mm-hmm.
So that will essentially drag all the way down here. And that will be your, or that's what mine is. Again, like if your eyebrows are up here, your C is going to be a lot bigger. So you just want to make sure everything is proportionizing. This looks crazy right now, this eyebrow, because I didn't wet it. And you could just keep adding your white to get as much coverage as you want. And then we're going to put the super white, again, stippling, not dragging. I hear a roommate coming downstairs. And you don't need to be afraid about like touching the eyebrow that you just did or you just drew with the sponge because it's not going nowhere.
And while we're watching Lyle, I think one of the big things, like, so as much as I am not a makeup person or a drag person, like I did it for fun because Lyle's a good friend and, you know, all this sort of stuff. And, you know, but in general, I think knowing makeup and techniques and how to like cut your face and sort of highlight and stuff like that is very important for across the board for in general, for stage makeup, for doing posters, for doing retouching. If you guys need any reference, my favorite makeup book, to be honest, is Face by Kevin Aquan.
Oh, yeah.
Probably one of the best makeup illusionists that used to be out there, to be honest. A lot of wonderful tips on how to slim that nose,
Totally.
sort of give yourself some cheeks, highlights, all that stuff, even with eyebrows, Raymond. Just look at it if you haven't looked at it.
There's like a really large coffee table book that I forget the name of it, but the pictures, the work in there is just incredible.
For Kevin Kwan?
Yes.
And that was Face. Face was like...
Oh, is it called, is it Face? Okay.
It was called Face. He has 2 books, and I bought both of them. Just because when you're doing sort of Photoshop retouching and stuff like that, and knowing sort of how the face works and the structure and how to like slim a woman's face or a man's face, or what makes a woman look, you know, a certain way, or how to make Lisa Marie Presley look into Audrey Hepburn. It's a very good example of like contouring your face in the different ways that you can use makeup.
Yeah. I'm going to have to come steal that book from you.
I need to remember where it is.
Oh, you don't even have it proudly displayed? Bad gay. Okay. So now that you blended all that out, I mean, mine look crazy right now because I'm rushing. But you're going to take this super white and you're just going to stipple this in just right underneath. And this is going to give you all the coverage that if it looks crazy like mine did, it will just eliminate all of that. And I know a lot of queens, when they cancel out their beard coverage, they'll put it in their eyebrows as well. That never worked for me. I mean, my browns never really came through under this super white, and that extra product, that grease, whatever I use, just totally messed me up. So you can try that. I don't know if it's dependent on certain products to be successful, but if you try it and it's successful, let me know. And again, you're just taking this in a stipple motion. So you're basically just poking your eyebrow and getting that white powder all up in the fine lines. I'll let that sit there while I do the other one. Same deal. Boop, boop, boop.
So, Alex, quick question. Do you do drag or no? Because I'm noticing that you did your nails.
I did it once, like probably 7 years ago for like a month, but I've also been brushing up because I auditioned for Kinky Boots twice this year and I'm doing it again in the summer. So I just want to be prepared.
Yes, okay, here we go. Yeah, Alex knows.
I do love makeup though. Like I love just playing and creating looks and just kind of like flexing the muscle a little bit.
Totally, totally. That's basically why I got started. And I remember like I would walk around West Hollywood because when I moved out here from New York, I didn't think I'd be doing drag, even though I started drag in New York. And I would just walk around, I'd go out for fun, and people would be like, "Oh, so you're a drag queen?" I was like, "No, I'm just doing it for fun." They're like, "All right, see you in 2 months." And then they were right.
So you're a drag mom, right? Who's your drag mom? Do I know?
I mean, my drag mom would be Gigi Heavy Flow down in Orlando, but she does not do drag anymore. She's a flight attendant.
Oh, well, good for her.
Okay, so now that all of that is covered and you have that white underneath, now is when I start going in. What are we on time? Okay, we're
actually okay with time, to be honest. So just so everyone knows, we're probably going to run over just a little bit. Lyle really wanted to concentrate on the eyebrows because he felt like that was really that's where most people are looking anyway, right there next to your eyes. So we wanted to spend some good time on that, and we'll probably do another class with Lyle, to be honest. So as everyone is clapping,
start where we left off. There's so much blue. I just did that you FaceTime me when I was in the middle of that blue look. Blue everywhere, all over these brushes. So sorry.
And here's a tip. You know, Miss Sugar said it in her class the other day. Do more than is expected. You know what I mean? Lyle right now in his time is basically doing drag every day. He is doing a TikTok a day that basically is taking him more than a few hours really to like, but they look great and they're fun. And you know, part of being a drag queen is building your brand, even as an actor. Let's be honest. Like all of it is about building your brand and finding what your voice is. And the more time you spend on you, the more time you'll figure out who you are much quicker too, to be honest.
And just like staying authentic to yourself. I just think there's so many copycats these days who are like thinking that, oh, if I copy this person, then I'll get success. And that's not the case. So listen to your heart when it's calling to you. Okay, so with eyes,
Thank you, Roxette.
I'm gonna try and make this as simple as possible. With eyes, you want to go big brush, light color, smaller brush, darker color. So I use these. So this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And as I said, bigger, fluffier brush, lighter color. So I'm gonna go in with this light color here, which is basically like my skin tone. And I'll dip into this just for a little contour. And you wanna start on the outer corner here where your socket is. And I start first by just flicking up just to create that shape. And then you wanna bring it in. And you wanna essentially do this same step with the smaller brush and the darker colors, and that'll create a gradual, another ombre. Basically, drag is just drawing brown circles around everything and calling yourself pretty. So you just want to make another brown circle in a gradual dark to light ombre formation. So that's what I'm going to do now, and that will blend into the white. And I usually go in with this just to give a good base. Also, I didn't put this on because it's just another step, but MAC Painterly Paint Pot is it just looks like this. I broke it, sorry. It's a really great eye primer that holds pigment really well. And depending on the product that you're using, like I learned the hard way, this palette is really great. It's Alexis Stone, super blendable with a primer. Not super blendable without a primer. So little things that you can't learn that unless you like do it and go, oh wait, why is this looking like crap? Noted for next time. So we're gonna do this. Same step. And again, with this, I'm following my natural bone structure. I'm just exaggerating it by bringing everything up. If we do another class where we can focus more on or if you look on my Instagram, I've done more cartoony looks where I've brought in my crease like a Jessica Rabbit type of style, like sleepy eye, which I know a lot of drag queens do. But this is my go-to face if I am in a hurry and I know what it's gonna look like, is what I'm saying.
Who does your favorite eyebrows? Because I know for me, when we were talking, I was listing a bunch of, because I wanted my eyebrows to look a certain way. Mm-hmm. I'm referencing Valentina's, because I happen to love Valentina's eyebrows. Mm-hmm. But whose eyebrows do you happen to like the best out of all the Rue girls?
I don't know. That's really hard. I would say Cracker and Pearl. I think they have cool eyebrows. Fame's paint in general is just insane.
I feel like Fame is no longer a drag queen though. Fame is just a fashion model now.
She really is. And if I get on that damn show, that is the trajectory that I will be trying to do. Because I want a model. She is all up in Fashion Week.
She is.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and get in here. You see how that brown has married into the white over the eyebrow, and it kind of just looks like skin at this point. The more you build on that, the more your natural brow will diminish, and it will bring out the feminine features of your eye. When I cut the crease, I'm you'll see. You'll see real quick. Let me just.
And I think speaking on Miss Fame and speaking on what you said about being authentic to yourself, trajectory was pretty authentic to her. You know what I mean? She'd always been a fashion queen and a model to begin with. She came into the competition, had sort of trajectory that she wanted. And I think as a drag queen, you also need to know if you're doing reality TV, what your story is and who you are, being authentic to it so that you can build your brand off of it. Because let's be honest, Fame also first drag queen to ever be in a national campaign for Germany for L'Oreal. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't know that about her. Yeah. Fierce. That's the thing is you don't need to do very well on Drag Race to do well in drag. And that's the common misconception with most fans these days is that I'm finding that a lot of people are fans of Drag Race and not fans of drag, which is fine. I'm happy for all the attention we can get, but don't make me clock you, okay? Don't make me tell you what you don't want to hear. So I'm moving on to the smaller brush with a darker color. This is just a darker brown. Again, just bringing everything up here first and then dragging it over. You want to concentrate the darker colors here so it looks more like there's more depth as it's going farther back, which we're creating because I ain't got no depth.
So what do you think is the biggest mistake you've ever done for your eyebrows, especially when you were first starting out?
For my eyebrows was putting too much glue. And like not letting, it's very, very, very important to let each one of your layers of glue dry. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep putting on wet glue on top of wet glue. And then when you finally put your foundation on top, it's just gonna be goopy mess. And there's really no recovering. There's no matter how much powder you put on, you just have to start over, is what I learned. One of my first gigs that I accepted, like a paying gig, I put on like okay, I'm gonna shade a company right now, but like whatever. Mayron, their white, I like using their white in specific places because it is so incredibly creamy. It's a cheap product, it's lovely. I mean, Crystal Method, who's on season 12 right now, only paints in this company's product. So like it works for some people, doesn't for others. I use that as a highlight and it ruined my entire face. I don't know why. Like the cream was like too greasy of a consistency. It did not match with the texture of my skin in the highlight zone. It's just like, again, I never would have known that unless I did it. So back to trial and error. You want to do that. Okay, now I'm taking smaller brush, darker color, same deal. Right there. Boop, boop, boop. Again, following my crease bone. I'm trying to think, what else can I tell you? This is where I get lost in, what does this say? What did this say? Okay. This is where I get lost in the blending, just because it's just fun for me. Just to see colors blend one into the other. And this is, again, a very neutral face. It's all browns. I would say that if you want to feel pretty and look pretty, you cannot go wrong with a neutral brown look and a silver lid. With drag, put a little glitter on it. You'll feel the zhuzh, you'll feel the fantasy. This brush I'm just using to blend. But I think I have silver, so I'll do that, and y'all will see how gorgeous I turn out looking.
Why don't we talk about your first drag performance?
Oh my God. Okay. Well, my first drag performance, again, black, smaller brush, was because of Brita Filter, actually. We started drag together, and I moved to LA and started doing drag just for fun. She stayed in New York and continued doing drag full force. She got a booking at a club that is no longer alive in New York. And I was in town, and she was like, hey, this club gave me this opportunity and I need to do a drag competition. Can you help me out? I can't find queens, I'm new, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I went, competed, had so much fun. You know who beat me? Jan Sport. Back then known as, I think she was just impersonating, what's her name from Kardashians, Kris Jenner. But she was brilliant. She live sang "Children Will Listen" as Kris Jenner, and put in little sound bites of the Kardashian girls just being an idiot. And it was brilliant. And I humbly surrendered to Jan. Okay, the eyes are basically done, PS. I mean, it looks crazy, just like the eyebrows until you clean it. This product I could not swear more by. It is Tarte Shape Tape. I use it as a highlight or concealer in my highlight area, and it just cuts through everything. I don't know what black magic is in this container, but it will cut through the blackest of black and give you a clean look. So that's why I don't really care if I get a little too messy, because this will essentially erase any mistake. Also, I spend half of the time doing my makeup looking for brushes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the name of that product that you have in your hand?
Yes, it is Tarte Shape Tape Contour Concealer, and it looks like this.
Got it, thank you.
I think
Are you gonna come in with like big eyebrows one day?
Well, no, women use this as a concealer and a eye primer. I mean, this is a very light color, so obviously it's gonna have a more draggy effect. Hi, Preston. But their arrangement of shades is vast. Okay, so what I use this for is I'm gonna cut my crease and just make my eye look a little bigger. So what I do is I lay it right in the middle of my eye, and then I'll bring it down. So I'll show you step by step. So I'll just go here, and I'll make a little, you see that right there. And then I will just follow my bone structure all the way down. So essentially it looks like that, and then you fill it in.
And I just wanted to give you a heads up, so we just need to wrap up probably in the next 15 minutes.
Perfect.
But I think you'll be probably done with your eyes by then. So while you're doing that, I'll open up some more questions. Does anyone have any questions for Lyle? Raymond does.
Uh-huh.
Raymond always does.
We're glad this is helping you. This is what.
How much of that white border underneath your new brow did you leave when you were doing the darker circles?
I don't like to leave too much. That is what makes it look a little crazy to me. The white is essentially just supposed to be like a little, I look crazy with one eye contoured in the other. It's just supposed to be the highlight, just to bring out. It's supposed to be the new brow bone. The white, you're essentially creating the new brow bone. So you don't want your brow bone to be so large. The brow bone is just that little piece of, the skin under your eyebrow before your eye. So if it's too big, you're gonna look a little crazy, but if that's your look, then go for it, Judge.
And then my other question is, as you were doing the darker shades and the darker circles, were you starting lighter and working your way in as you got darker and then blending?
We're gonna do the same step, just with different products and different brushes. So you're gonna start on the outer corner with the light fluffy brush, and you're gonna bring it in. And then as you get smaller with the brushes, you get darker with the colors, doing the same motion.
And you're doing it just on top of each other. You're not starting.
Essentially, yes, on top of each other, but because of the different sizes of the brushes, it won't have as much coverage. So it will look like a gradient effect. I think I'm just gonna focus on this eye and really like blow through this, so I'm not doing both before we have to wrap up here. Right. So cut the crease, little half moon look. I'm gonna set that with some white, because we're gonna do a little silver. I don't have any silver shadow. Okay, so with a glitter lid, there are so many different products that I love to use. Urban Decay has this product called Heavy Metal, and it looks like this, and it comes in all these different, so like, I think I have 3 shades of these. So they're just like a glitter eyelid. I think that people use it to like, it says eyeliner. I don't use this as an eyeliner. I cover my entire lid in it, just because the pigment is so lovely. So I think I'm gonna use 2 of these. Again, this is another great product, Urban Decay. Their glitters are just fantastic. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna cover the whole lid. Ah, gorgeous. Oh my God. Do you see that? Oh my goodness. Ah, my God. Oh, I love makeup.
Feeling your oats.
Oh my God. It's not even me. I'm not even like, I look gorgeous. I'm like, oh, this product, maybe I need to make some makeup. I don't know. Again, I wish I could just like, I'm just going to haphazardly just place this everywhere.
What's the best part of being a drag queen, Miss Lady?
Losing inhibition. You can't like, I can't feel embarrassed or any type of real emotion towards a character that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like I can do whatever I want, or I can say something and be like, oh, you know what I mean? But like, that didn't happen because that person doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Face comes off. That never happened. All right. The reason this looks a little crazy right now is because we didn't line our eyes. And we are gonna do that with, where is my eyeliner? Aha. Inglot. This is the blackest of black liquid eyeliner. You wanna be super careful with this. Also, NYX has a really great black eyeliner that's way more affordable, but Inglot, I mean, I swear by them. They make a product in a liquid eyeliner and they also make it in a clay? Is it clay? Is that what? They make it in that part. Like it comes in a pot. Okay, so I'm gonna do this real quick and then everything's gonna make sense. I'm gonna.
So while you do that, where do you think you spend the most money for yourself for drag? Is it your outfits? Is it makeup? Where do you find you should be spending your money on?
That's a tricky question, Julian. I would say you don't need, it's a trick question. That's what it is. You don't need to spend so much money because like, I don't know, you don't need to worry about looking like wearing labels or looking a certain way. It's more about the creative process to me. I mean, I wear duct tape sometimes and feel the ultimate judge. For me, I just find the joy in painting, and I know that that's not everyone's story, but if I can give advice, I would say just like perfect the face before you start spending money on the outfits. You know, like you don't want to look a busted mess wearing like Valentina. I should say that I lined the eye with the liquid black and then I just blended it with a NYX black, the end, just right here into where that black kind of started with the eye. You can see that right there. And then this product, I don't even know if MAC still makes this, but it's called Cinderfella and it's an eyeshadow and it looks like it just has like flecks of silver in it, which I like to put over, because, you know, drag queen and glitter. I like to put over the black, and I'll show you like, oh my God. Oh my God, can you see that? Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm gonna try and get up in there, but can you see all that?
Gigi is loving this. I can see everyone is like loving this.
Oh, I love a glitter. Even if it's like a little, all right, let me pop a lash on this just so y'all can see.
I'm gonna mute Gigi for a hot second because she was saying something so emphatically.
Me?
Yes, your face.
Oh, well, you know, I am not lucky enough to be a drag queen, but as an older lady just doing your makeup, I'm loving every bit of this. Lyle, loving you and everybody involved. It looks gorgeous.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Such great tips. I'm going to use them all. I've written, I don't know about everybody else, but I've written everything down.
Yes. I mean, I did drop a
Oh,
lot.
look at Alex.
Alex too.
Good for you, Alex. Thanks everyone for like, I love this.
It's so Ravenclaw in
this
me.
has been amazing. Can't wait for the next.
We are in class. This is a class. The class is in session.
Yeah. Well, I'm so grateful.
Okay, I just put a little lash glue on this lash. I should plug them. They are Fabulash. Someone who I worked with at Frozen, she was one of our costumers. she reached out. She was like, I have this lash company. I want you to try it. Let me know what you think. I was like, of course. And I got them, and I would not talk them up if I did not actually love them. They're fantastic. So I will link them. I'll put them in my story if you guys follow me on the Insta, and you can give them some love. A little side note with, where is it? If you use Duo Lash Glue, I use the one that I don't like the one that dries clear. I like the one that dries black because it just blends more into the black eyeliner that you put on. And you're really gonna wanna wait till this gets tacky before putting it on. Otherwise it can get very messy. Also, I know a lot of people blow on, blow lightly on the glue to help it dry faster, to get a little tacky before putting it on. But actually it activates to warm air. So if you like on it, that helps. Or if you just put like a blow dryer on hot, that will speed up the process. I also know a lot of other drag queens use Weave Bond, but that is not eye safe. So you can try that, but you didn't hear it from me. And with if you're wearing a false lash, I mean, it's important to me. You're gonna want to bend the band. So basically, just like get like, am I in frame? Just like bend it like this, just to get it in the curvature shape of your eye. And then, I mean, I think this is pretty tacky, but I didn't bring a blow dryer up here, so here we go. Oh, also,
you would know tacky, right?
Say again.
I said you would know tacky, right?
Also, curl your lash and wear mascara. I didn't bring my lash curler, but curl your lash. It's just an easy little step. Just curl it. Okay, and with the lash, when you glue it on, you're gonna wanna glue it on starting where your natural lash is. You don't want to put it too far in, otherwise it'll give you like a cross-eyed type of look. So you want to start it there, and then you want it to lift right at the end. You don't want to leave it on your natural lash line. Well, women you do, because women have rounder, more slanted eyes. But with men trying to feminize the eye, our eyes tend to go down this way instead of up this way. So what you want to do is you want to just push up this end here. What I would usually do is take a blow dryer and I would just hold it until it's dry. But for now, I don't have any type of, oh, I'm so unprepared.
So can we talk about the famous Gia Gunn moment where her eyelash was falling off? What do you think was happening there? What was wrong? What was going on with that?
Well, it wasn't falling off. It was just glued improperly. And that is a hard thing for, well, first of all, Gia is of an Asian descent. I'm not sure what she is, but Japanese. So her eyes are already, like the eye space for her to play with is already incredibly limited. And she has a hooded eye. So in order to create that shape, she has to essentially draw over her own bone structure, but that can get tricky when putting a lash on because you want to put the lash, as I said, above the lash line, but because she doesn't have that much space, it kind of, and if you put it on too wet, it can droop down and then dry there, so you look like this, which is essentially what happened to her. But she's fixed it. I mean, I've done gigs with her. I've signed her into Disney. She'd be looking right these days.
Yeah, I was just hoping there was a learning moment there for everybody, and I guess it is, because at the same time, just remember, guys, that our eyelids aren't all the same. So,
and this is the lash. I mean, I accidentally washed these lashes because I was just so eager to get out of face that now they look like super spiky. But I wonder if you can like see. Can you see like where the lash actually is? Mm-hmm. Like on my actual eye. Does that make sense? It's not anywhere, like there's so much black, like I can lift and you can see where my actual, I don't know, I'm getting too personal.
And I think Raymond had a question about it.
I did. There's so many questions. First of all, can I get Gigi's notes? Because your penmanship looks incredible. But as far as lashes, how do you, or what is your philosophy on fitting lashes to your face? Because I know often we cut, and if we're going up anyway, should we cut the ends off?
Definitely measure your lash to your face. That's something that I used to not do, because most lashes do fit me, and I would be like, whatever, drag is pain, pain is beauty, I'll go through it. But oh my God, ever since I just like measured it and just like cut off that like a centimeter makes so much of a difference when it comes to the eye, because if it comes too far in here, it will pull focus here and it'll make you look like your eye is going in towards your nose. And if it's too far, if it's glued too far down here, it'll give you this droopy effect, which will essentially look like this, which is Geo. We don't want that. That's what that poor girl.
And then also, what is your philosophy/theology on stacking lashes?
Okay, if you're gonna stack your lashes, you're gonna wanna cut them up and place them. You don't want to place everything on the band. That's when things start to look crazy. So there is an art to, so like if this is a lash, you don't want to place the next lash directly on top of this band. You want to place it just right here. So essentially it lies right in front, if that makes sense. I'm trying to like, so let me just get right up in here. So like this is the band. You don't want to glue that right there. You want to glue it right here and have it still going out that way. But if you glue it on the band will become so thick that it will look crazy on your actual eye. You want it to look thin on your eye and then build out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And is there such a thing as too many? Because I've gone and done like 8 lashes on each eye and it still hasn't been enough. Like
I don't think it's too many as long as it's built properly. It's all about how you build the lash. You definitely don't want too much commotion on the inner corner. You definitely want it a little more less busy here, and then building. And everything is just ombreing out. The farther away from your face, the more you want. So the darker. Stacking lashes is just to emulate. Like, I don't understand why beauty is just like a lot of hair. So like hair on your head, people find beautiful. Bushy eyebrows, people find beautiful. Thick eyelashes, people find beautiful. So that's what you're doing with makeup. You're basically lining your top lash to make it look like your lash line is full of hair. So you can do that as long as it's correct. You know, like as long as it don't look crazy.
Said the man with one eye done and one eye not.
Listen, crazy is my middle
Love it.
name.
Love it.
Finish this, shouldn't I? Wait, Julian's muted. I see you're trying to.
I'm trying to talk. Sorry. Well, guys, I think so. We're slowly just wrapping it up. I mean, how much more do you have of your eye? Is this it?
I mean, I just have to cut this and put a lot. I mean, it doesn't have to. I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Well, I guess we'll leave the rest of your face tomorrow at 1 p.m. But guys, so if anyone has any last questions for Lyle before we sort of
I don't have a question, but I just want to again say, Lyle, thank you for sharing your gifts with us.
Oh my God, thank you. My pleasure.
This has just been fabulous. I mean, we're all in this together. We're all at home. And the fact that there's this generosity of spirit to teach us all what you know, I can't thank you enough. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh my God, my pleasure.